Hi, welcome back. This morning I'm going to be brewing a lager. I haven't done a lager before. We're in June. It is baking. At the minute, if I put the temperature probe on, it's 27.4 in here. Unfortunately I'm in a greenhouse. I've put a sheet over the top to try and reflect a bit of the sunlight, but that's the best I can do really. So it's going to be hot today. We're nearly up to temperature with the HLT. I put that on this morning. So just to run through what we're doing. Decided to do a pale lager. Hopefully going to end up with an ABV of around 4.7. For the grains that we're using, 4.43 kilograms of Pilsner malt, 0.44 kilograms of flaked barley, and 0.15 kilograms of carapils. That's going to be mashed in for 60 minutes at a temperature of 65 degrees Celsius. I should be adding around 14 litres of water for that. I'm going to underlet as I usually do, give it a good stir. I'm hoping to get my efficiency up a little bit, but just taking my time a bit more. Yesterday I set this up, last night had a little leak on the sight glass, so I've sorted that out. This morning I've just just run some water through the mash tun to warm it up, and there was a leak on the top of that, so I've just sorted that out. And also my control panel, I've added a plug for the temperature probe. Before the temperature probe just connected straight into the back of the PID, but so that I can unplug that, I've got a plug system. So I've just sorted that out. So we're just a couple of degrees off of where we need to be, so we'll just wait for that before we mash in. For our hop schedule, on the boil, we're going for 18 grams of Northern Brewer at 60 minutes, our Wellflock or Protoflock tablet at 15, and then we're adding 16 grams of Hersbrucker at 10 minutes, and then 20 grams at flame out. We're bringing it down to temperature as quickly as we can, which is going to be a bit of a challenge because I did forget to stick any tubs of water into the freezer last night. So all I can do is fill the HLT with cold tap water, which at the minute is about 18 degrees Celsius, and then I just run the boil through the Herms coil on there just to transfer the heat. I might end up with a couple of fills of that, but we'll see how we go. I'm not anticipating I'm going to get it down really quick, to be honest. It was a bit of an oversight last night. Didn't think about it till this morning, and it's too late to try and freeze some water. So once we get it as cold as we can, I'll stick it in the fermentation bucket and we'll chuck it in the fridge down at pitching temperature, which I'm not sure what it is at the minute, so I'll look into that. What I've also done is, a lot of you guys are playing around with this new Brew app. I've only used Beersmith before, so I've got that on the iPad. So what I originally done was put the recipe into Beersmith. I've transferred it along to the Brew just to see what I think of that. It's, I don't know, it is 50-50 on both of them at the moment. Beersmith have brought out their 3rd edition, which I haven't really looked at yet, so I might start looking at that. But I just wanted to see whether the numbers come out the same. They're very, very similar, not exactly the same, but that could be down to the amount of information you put in for your equipment. But I've set my mash efficiency at around 65% because last brew day it was really poor. So if we end up that the numbers are over what I'm expecting, I may lengthen the brew a little bit at the beginning before the boil by adding some water. But if it's not too far out, I'll just go with it. We'll see what we get at the end. I'm hoping the numbers will come up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So we'll crack on. Just been stood here talking to you, and I'm looking at the PID and the numbers aren't moving. I'm kind of expecting that, but I'm trying to get it up and another 2.5 degrees now. And on the PID the little light was on, so I just investigated because I couldn't hear the element, and I realised the element wasn't firing, so I was thinking maybe it's the SSR that's gone in there, which will scupper our efforts today, but realised I hadn't turned it on, so there we go, but we're back on track. Okay, I've had a little bit of an error. I've put the strike water in at 66.7. Beer Smith was telling me it should be 76.7, so I've written it down wrong. No, sorry, yeah, 76.7. So I've written it down wrong. So currently in the mash tun, we've got 61.4 degrees Celsius, so I've got to bring it up to 65 ideally for a good mash. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. We've got the HLT that's got the Holmes coil, so I've just set the pipe work up partly just to do the research, but I'm just waiting for the temperature to come up in the HLT. So I want to try and warm it up fairly quickly, so I want to bring it up to about 80 I suppose. And then I'll keep an eye on the temperature probe in the mash tun. What difference that's going to make, I'm not really sure. I would imagine it will start to ferment, start to extract more fermentable sugars. So in a way, it's better to start cooler than hotter, maybe. But you tell me if I'm wrong. I think where I've come up with the error is because I'm trying to use 2 pieces of software. I've also written it down on a bit of paper because I find that a little bit easier to read as we're going along. But it's all learning, so hopefully we'll end up with a good lager at the end of it anyway. Right, all seems to be working. Had a little bit of an airlock, but we got that sorted in the end. So we just wait for that temperature to come up. The mash temperature, HLT is now 80, so it shouldn't take too long at all. Okay, the mash is complete. That's the colour wort we got. So it should be a nice pale colour. Our pre-boil, as it stands, is 10:42. So I would imagine my efficiency has increased a little bit because I estimated a 10:35. So what I've got to decide is, do I want a strong lager or do I want a less strong lager really? I don't really want it overly, certainly not over 5%. Might put it around 5, mightn't it? Might not be too bad. At 10:35 pre-boil, he's estimating that we should get to 4.7 ABV with a specific gravity of 1042. So we've hit that already, haven't we? 1042. So this could be quite a strong lager. I'm probably going to run with that because we've got 30 litres exactly. I think I'll go with that, but what I am going to do is going to have a quick relook at the hop schedule, because I think we may need to increase our initial hoppage of the Northern Brewer at 60 minutes. At the minute I've got 18 grams, so I'll do a calculation and see where we get to balance the ABV with the bitterness. So that should be alright. We get that. The water's in the boil kettle. It's at 77 degrees Celsius at the minute, so we've got a little way to go to 100 for the boil. So I'm just going to pop inside and do a couple of calculations, and then I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I've been in, I've worked out what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the first hop, the Northern Brewer, up to 18 grams, from 18 to 20 grams. I'm going to stick with the Hallertau Hersbrucker, the same, the 16 grams at 10 minutes and the 20 grams at flame out. So we've got all the hops weighed out, they all look good. We're at 88.7, so we're not far away from the boil. So as soon as that happens, we can start chucking some hoppage in. Right, all's good now. We've reached a boil. So our first hop to go in is our Northern Brewer. Smells lovely. 20 grams we're putting in. So there's our 20 grams, and I just started the timer. So our next drop after that will be our Hersbrucker at 10 minutes, and before that we've got to stick the Wellflock tablet in, or Protaflock, whatever you choose. So I'll come back to you then. Okay then guys, the brew day's nearly over. I've just emptied the mash tun of the spent grain. We're just cooling the wort. As I mentioned before, I failed to freeze some water, so I've got no ice to pop in here like I did last time. So what I'm doing is I'm just running it with cold water in there. The water is in fact about 18 degrees out the tap at the minute this time of year. But it's going to take the edge off the heat, I suppose, and then we can put it in the fermentation vessel and chuck it in the fridge, cool it right down. The temperature of the boil kettle in the minute is 76.5 degrees, so it's doing its job. I think it will take a little while, but I suppose the benefit from it is that we're not using loads of water. The water that I've got here will warm up and I use that for cleaning. So as far as I can see, it's gone pretty well today. I've had a couple of issues with temperature control. I've got some ideas how to overcome that. Maybe for next time, maybe not. It's just adjusting some of the kit. But not gone too bad. So hopefully we're going to end up with a nice lager out of it. And I'll pop a video up when it's fermented. Well, we're just transferring now into the FV. So it's not gone too bad today. A couple of things that I mentioned before, but we've not got it overly cold. I'm just going to chuck it in the fermentation chamber just to chill it down just before I pitch the yeast. So all I can say is thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please click here and subscribe. Over here some more videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.